Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. I'm Ray Latif, the editor, producer, and host of BevNet's Taste Radio podcast. Over the next 60 minutes, we're going to be chatting with entrepreneurs from across the food and beverage industry about their innovative brands and those products that belong to those brands. With me today, co-hosting today's show, is Sebastian Dreher, the managing director of Doler Ventures US. Sebastian, so great to see you.
Great to see you too, Ray, as always. Love to be back on the show.
I love to have you back on the show. As you mentioned, we've had you on once before. You've talked about what Doler Ventures is, but if this is the first time someone's tuning into the Elevator Talk live stream, tell me a little bit about what you guys do and your position within the company.
Yeah, thank you. So Doler is a B2B ingredient company. So we develop all kinds of beverages and food products, and really all across the plant-based space, every category you could think of. And within the company, my job is to look out for new categories, really innovative concepts, and invest very early on. So we typically invest at the seed stage of a company. Most of the times, we have first institutional money in. So we're really true early stage investors in the business.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we have a lot of early stage brands and entrepreneurs right here. I mean, what are you specifically looking for when it comes to investment? I mean, every investor that I've ever talked to says, "Oh, I want something that's different. I want something that's innovative. I want something that can grow fast, and I want the brand owner to be all in." So, I mean, I'm assuming you're looking for some of those things, but what is it that moves the needle for you most?
So the way I always put it is I'm looking for what I call a new category, right? You want to have a product that's correct, that is different. But in this industry, you have to think in categories, and ideally, a new company and other companies that are coming along are creating new categories that really stand out to the consumer because it's much easier to communicate within a category. You know, it's the rule of three. Typically, three brands come together and create something that is unique and stand out. And that is something I think new brands need in order to have the extra, in order to get an advantage over other companies in order to grow. Besides that, obviously, I love to talk to founders. I want to hear the passionate stories because ultimately the brand is what companies are building. And the way to build brands right now is through authentic, passionate stories.
Indeed, authentic, passionate stories is something that we talk about and do a lot on Taste Radio. And you joined us for a fantastic episode, in episode 39 of Taste Radio Insider, called "The Art and Science of Getting Investors to Say Yes." For folks watching who are looking for money right now, and I assume that's about 99% of you, I highly recommend you listen to that episode. It's chock full of outstanding information. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. I'm Ray Latif, the editor, producer, and host of BevNet's Taste Radio podcast. Joining me on this episode is Sebastian Dreher, managing director with Doler Ventures US, which, as Sebastian mentioned earlier, invests in innovative and emerging early stage companies. All right, Sebastian, what do you say we get started and get to our first guest of the episode?
I'd love to, but I got to tell you first, I did the same mistake as last time. It's lunchtime in Los Angeles. I did not have any breakfast. So it's fantastic to talk about healthy and good tasting snacks and beverages, but I'm hungry. So let's go for it.
I have a feeling you're going to be hungrier just because it's an hour's time and because we're going to be hearing about so many interesting and probably delectable products. But we'll get there one thing at a time. All right. First up is Jensen Tome, who is the CEO of This Saves Lives. Jensen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ray?
Very good. Very good. Did I get your last name right? I always. You told me
it's
5 minutes ago.
Thome. It's
okay.
close enough.
But it's spelled Thome, and I thought, there's a baseball player out there called Jim Thome.
That's right.
And you have the same spelling, but different pronunciation.
I don't think we're related, but we should be friends.
You should be. You're calling in from the great city of Bend, Oregon.
I am.
Near and dear place to my heart. Is This Saves Lives? Is that based in there, or are you just based in the city?
No, I'm just here for visiting family. But no, we're actually based in Los Angeles, California.
Very cool. So tell us a bit about the brand for folks who aren't familiar. I've seen your products at Starbucks, but for folks who aren't familiar, what is it all about?
Yeah, well, we're in 15,000 Starbucks nationwide, franchise and corporate, and a number of retailers. So what we are is we're a celebrity-founded brand that's with the intention of doing good in the world. 5-6 years ago, it's Kristen Bell, Ravi Patel, Ryan Devlin, and Todd Grinnell, sort of getting around in the room, working on their nightstands as desks and trying to come up with a bar that might help save a life in places where children are dying of severe acute malnutrition. So, and the ambition is that when you buy a bar, that we provide life-saving food for a child in need, and it takes a child. It's something called Plumpy Nut. It takes a child from certain death to fully cured of severe acute malnutrition. So the ambition was to come up with a product that, and they didn't know bars at the time, that would help transform, that would help pave the way, and in a way that Tom's Shoes did, and to get folks out there that need help, and the voiceless, the mothers, even the children that deserve some of the basic necessities of life. So, and that's our mission. So we're a for-profit company doing good in the world.
Very cool. You recently launched some new flavors of your product line and introduced some new flavors of your secondary product line as well. Can you talk about those?
We did. So the brand was founded on sort of 6 core SKUs of bars, and now we've expanded that this year to 4 more SKUs of core, or 4 more flavors of core that are more wide appeal and that have 5 grams of protein, 8 grams of sugar, incredibly delicious, and some evolved packaging that we think have some more taste cues that I think consumers will appreciate. We've spent a lot of time gathering feedback from customers, consumers, buyers in the industry, and have made some really great products. Also, we have kids bars. We have 3 SKUs of kids that we've had in the past. We've added 2 more SKUs that are 2 more flavors that are also fun, delicious, 5 grams of sugar, and then a complete line of sort of the Rice Krispie treats that we all know and love. But in kid fashion, for us, it's made with a full serving of fruits and veggies and safe for school. So you can take it to school, and it's a single-digit sugar. You sneak in those great fruits and veggies, and it creates a wonderful snack. We have a number of innovation going on, but those new 11 flavors that we've launched this year, outside of Expo West, has been successful for us, and we're working hard to get those into the mouths of those here in the U.S. But also, the double impact is that when you buy our products, that we're able to provide life-saving food for a child in need someplace else in the world.
So obviously you have a great mission, and as you said, you have celebrity support. You have been founded by celebrities.
Right.
What's your communication and marketing strategy? I mean, you have fantastic placement. Many brands are dreaming of, going to a Starbucks and having, such prominent display. But what's your communication strategy beyond the bar, beyond the packaging, and beyond the snack?
Yeah, good question. So, it's interesting because impulse areas in Starbucks or anyplace else, sometimes you don't always get time with the real estate of the package. And sometimes, in our case, you may pick up the bar, tear away the mission, and eat the delicious bar, but then sort of don't dig into the what's behind it. So awareness has always been a tough thing for us. I think in 3 seconds, we want to communicate lifestyle. That's something really cool and great to do. And it's also in kids. It also provokes a conversation about impact at a young age, but also it's about our social impact model, and also nutrition. We think there's a lot of things out there in the market that are taking something away. We're providing good macros and a good healthy bar. So our communication really is, how do we say that message in 3 to 5 seconds, and how to make people understand it? And so we use a number of tools. One of them is, of course, our celebrities that have opened their hearts, that are investors in our company, that there's a number of them, there's probably 30 of them, that they go out there and help evangelize who we are, and communicate what this is all about. So, and then obviously doubling down, especially these days, on sort of our digital footprint in Amazon and our own .com. So the marketing aspect for us has been difficult, and where there's a really busy shelf, 200 and some plus brands, it's hard to stick out. So we rely heavily on word of mouth, on our wonderful retailer partners and our celebrities to get the message out there that this is something that we should, that has a double bottom line, and that, we'd love you to eat our bars and help save a life.
And is that something retailers are perceptive to? Are you pitching, saying, listen, we have that great digital strategy and we have obviously a voice? Is that something retailers are interested in and it helps you to open up new accounts?
It is. It's well, I think the name is provocative in itself. So it begs the question, like, what does that mean? How do you do that? The celebrities, they help, but we're very much, it's a tool for us, but it doesn't always get us the meeting. Our brand gets us the meeting, and then the taste gets us our taste, and our team gets us the distribution. But I think that some of them have more interest in it than others, especially when they're wanting to sort of capture that audience as well. I mean, our demographic is typically millennial moms. If that's something they want walking through their aisles, then I think they're more interested in sort of engaging that part of our organization.
Fantastic. Jensen, love the mission behind the brand. And, it's clear you've had quite a bit of success to this point. Good luck with everything going forward. Please stay in touch.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll be seeing this saves lives in many more stores in the years to come.
Yep. Please go online and check us out. And if you have questions, we're here to answer all those questions. And the more you want to know, the more we want to share. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, Ray and Sebastian. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. All right. That was Jensen Thome, the CEO of This Saves Lives. Sebastian, do you recall when it was called This Bar Saves Lives back in the day?
I wanted to say that. Thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to ask the question, but obviously you're short in time. Yeah, I remember that time, and it's interesting to see, how you experiment with that. I think many companies have the same issue. They starting with the product, they put it in the brand name, and it's so prominent, and it kind of doesn't allow them to expand beyond it. So it's interesting to see. And one thing I also wanted to say is, obviously in these times, This Saves Lives has a totally different meaning suddenly, right? So it's an interesting way of how connotation and taglines can change with social things that are happening in social life, right?
That's an excellent point. But to your earlier point about allowing your brand name to represent a platform versus a particular product or ingredient is something we've heard many times. I think about the investment banker Mike Bergmeyer, who always urges entrepreneurs to say, never put the ingredient in your brand name. Now, sometimes there are exceptions, but for the most part, try not to do that.
Tell this to all the keto companies out there. It seems to be. I just today, this morning, I was at Erewhon here, like a nice independent store in LA, and I cannot even tell you how many brands had keto in it. It's which is not an ingredient, but which is along those lines. It seems to be working for them, but it's against the advice of most experts.
True, and it's something that's still not entirely proven in terms of a long-term diet trend. So I agree with you there. All right, so let's move on to our next guest of the Elevator Talk live stream. That's Jeffries, who's the president and CEO of Pink and Blue. Jeff, how are you?
All righty, how are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. You're surrounded by Pink and Blue.
Yeah. We try to do anything we can to get the word out. Someone has a camera, we're going to put our stuff up and say, hey, try Pink and Blue.
Well, you've got the camera, but tell us about Pink and Blue. What do you guys do?
Well, Pink and Blue is a USDA certified organic and vegan energy beverage. We actually have the variant. It's actually an organic drink and a vegan drink all in one can. And it's pretty great. Actually, it's excellent. Pink is a grapefruit flavor and blue is a blueberry flavor. So it was a phenomenal taste. The packaging, as you can see, the can is just very clean and we're very basic. Pink, grapefruit, and blue is blueberry.
Organic energy is your category. Tell me about the thought process of getting into the space, because it is a highly competitive business you're in.
Well, the space, as you know, is very saturated. And we tried to launch an energy drink years ago called Marine Corps Energy Drink. And at the last minute, the United States Department of the Navy, who gave us permission to use the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, the Marine Corps logo, pulled it. So that kind of like put a sour taste in our mouth. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and was like, we really want to be in this space. I've sold energy drink brands for years across the world. So the new category, when you go into these supermarkets and these retailers, there's an organic aisle, and it's starting to grow more and more. So again, we thought about saying, how cool would it be to have a brand that's vegan, but it's also organic, truly organic, and put it into one can.
And how did you come up with the pink and the blue? I understand the flavors you're putting in there, but what's the idea behind the brand name? I mean, obviously some connotations come to mind if you think about it, but what's the idea behind the brand itself and the brand positioning?
Well, the idea behind the brand is just, there are so many different energy drinks out there that use different names that mean different things. Well, we like to keep everything really basic, really simple, really clean. Pink is just a name. It's just pink. When you look at the grapefruit, it's actually kind of pinkish inside. So, we figured that, hey, let's just call the brand pink, because we know we wanted to put that organic grapefruit flavor in it, as well as blue. We just wanted to use these organic blueberries and just put that actual flavor in there. So coming up with the name was very basic and simple, just pink and blue. Pink is grapefruit and blue is blueberry. And then just to put the two together, we call our brand Pink and Blue. So that's pretty much the basic of it. A new kind of lifestyle category, just really basic, simple, and clean. When you grab a can, you know what you're drinking.
And what is your go-to-market strategy? As Ray pointed out, and you pointed out, it's a very busy category. Different shelf placements. You mentioned the more a wellness kind of drinks aspect, an organic aspect. But what's your go-to-market strategy?
Well, we're priding ourselves on just being a nice, easy, readable can to look at and read. When you crack it open and you smell that, it's a wonderful taste and wonderful smell, wonderful taste. But coming to market, our approach was just one section at a time. For example, the U.S. military. I'm a retired Marine, so we're going to be in the Navy exchanges starting in June. So that's a great thing for us. So going after that military buying community, which is a large buying community, is huge for us. I mean, yes, we're in some 7-Elevens locally, some Shell gas stations locally, but we're trying to use one community to try to use their word of mouth to say, okay, hey, well, this is here. Oh, I've had this. Where'd you get it? Well, I got it on a military base. And hopefully that word of mouth transforms into more orders and more sales for us. I mean, right now, the only retail outlet that's pretty wide, I mean, we're sold on Walmart.com, where, someone to grab a case, they can go there, they can get a case. But outside of our headquarters, which is Las Vegas, Nevada, you really can't get a can of the brand unless you're, again, one of those military installations starting in June.
Jeff, it's interesting because I've been with BevNet for 9 years, and I've come across so many different organic energy drink brands or natural energy drink brands, and a lot of them skew to a specific type of consumer. Who is your target consumer for this product?
Well, our target consumer would be that individual, that whole organic, that Trader Joe's shopper, if I can use that for example. Those folks that are really conscious about their body, mind, and spirit and what they're putting into their body. And they usually shop, 99% of them, I'll say, shop at Trader Joe's. And if you go there and you look around Trader Joe's, as I've done so many times, you really want to see any type of energy drink or anything like that. Almost everything is there organic, their orange juice, their water. So we kind of want to go after that individual, someone who's really conscious about what they're putting in their body. And this is a great, healthy way to go. You're still going to get energy without all the unnecessaries that are put into the can.
Indeed. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really appreciate it. And good luck with everything going forward with Pink and Blue.
Thank you. We appreciate the time. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you
so much.
Sebastian, energy drinks, really important category. I think someone that who's in the space just told me it's growing 10% year over year still. Is that, are you getting the same numbers?
Yeah, it's one of the big mysteries, right? Like if you look at the market and you think, well, there's big saturated categories and so much competition, and still it's growing, right? It's an anomaly, I would say, but it's very interesting. But let me say, first of all, I can't wait until the next time I'm actually has a chance to go to Nevada and Las Vegas, right? So I mean that, and then I certainly gonna try to find the product, right? But that just reminded me of that. But yeah, the energy category is crazy, as you said, super competitive. still growing. So it is just energy is just such a big need for people, right? I think I mentioned before when we started talking that, it's all about categories, but in reality, there are only a few functions that have really the potential to break out, that is touching people's lives multiple times a day. And energy is something, people need energy in the morning, they need energy around noon, energy in the afternoon. So it is really one of the big categories to go after. And it's just such a central role in everybody's life.
100%. Let's see if William Siff, who's the founder and CEO of Goldthread, can explain why adaptogens might just be the next energy drink category. William, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys.
Great to see you again. William joined us in episode 75 of Taste Radio Insider in his episode entitled "When Building a Brand Means Creating a New Category." That's so apropos when we have Sebastian Dreher on as co-host of the episode. William, for folks who aren't familiar with Goldthread, what is the brand all about?
Well, Goldthread is, it came out of my clinical practice. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, Ayurvedic doctor, ethnobotanist, and I've been using medicinal plants for myself and for patients, my family, for over 20 years to address common health concerns, I mean, even advanced ones in my practice. And so now I'm also a beverage entrepreneur and formulator. And these formulations that make up the Goldthread plant-based tonics came out of clinical practice. And you see in the clinical practice, people coming in with a lot of the same issues like you guys were just talking about. People are always wanting to address energy. They're addressing things like digestive issues or detoxification, issues. These days, especially things like boosting immunity is a big function that people are looking to augment or enhance. And so the beverages are basically, they're plant-based beverages that are comprised almost solely of medicinal plants, herbs, spices, adaptogens. And they are 14 grams of herbs in each one of these drinks. And you'd think that might make it so it doesn't taste so great, but they're actually really refreshing at the same time. So it's an easy way. It's a convenient and accessible delivery mechanism to consume medicinal plants that enhance core body functions that, like what Sebastian was saying, everyone has to touch upon in their daily life, whether it's their lunch break and they're looking to get an afternoon boost to kind of keep their minds clear, or they've just had a workout and they're looking to recover faster, improve things like sleep and relaxation in the evening time. And so I formulated these synergistically to, they're full of all different kinds of combinations of plants that arise out of the Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine traditions, primarily, which is what I practice. And they have a long history of use. We go all over the world to source the ingredients and make sure. I've done a lot of farming and growing of medicinal plants in my career, and actually I know a lot about that as well. So when I go to find the source, I want to make sure it actually has the medicinal constituents that are going to give it the efficacy. So that's the basic rundown of what the brand's all about. And we have 10 different SKUs to address 10 different functions. And we are shelf stable. And this is in a glass bottle. And there you have it.
And you recently launched a new power pack of products. Tell us about that.
Yeah, in response to what's been going on in the country and the world, we've had to shift a lot of our strategy, at least in the short term, towards online. Not primarily, because we're also in grocery stores, of course, but we wanted to get the functionality is a big aspect of what makes this brand, essentially something that people are looking for. And in Power Packs is just combining two of the different drinks to create a synergistic effect that's mutually enhancing the effect of the other one. So in a Power Pack, for example, we've got mint condition and another SKU called turmeric radiance. And these two are taking care of two particular aspects of digestive health. One, turmeric stimulates metabolism, gets the digestive fire going, kindles appetite, and enhances assimilation. And then you've got the mint condition drink, which has a whole bunch of herbs that are traditionally used post mealtime to relax the gut, improve rest and digest mode. And so, and basically, so you have the intention is to give people an understanding through these power packs of how to optimally employ these drinks for their functional benefits, because we're trying to like get people to use these and understand them as, yes, they're refreshing and you can just grab one on your lunch break. But at the same time, if you want to really optimize and enhance your health, you can use these things very skillfully for particular issues that you might have or that might be happening seasonally or, in different settings that you want to have. So you have these two in your fridge for the evening time, these two for the meal time, and so on and so forth. So we have 5 of those now, and they're going really great.
And talking about power packs, can you just show the bottle again you had there?
Yeah, like this is this is one of the power packs. So this is lavender bliss and green minerals. This is one of them.
And we didn't plan this because look at that, what I got here.
Oh.
So essentially, we just created another power pack. I actually went out this week at every brand, but in the area one I couldn't find many, but I found obviously Goldthread. And so first of all, congrats to making such great displays and how you have a really powerful presence, especially here in Southern California. One question I have, I mean, the story you're telling about Ayurvedic medicine and about plant-based Chinese medicine, many other brands try to do it. And so first of all, you call your product a tonic, and creating a category, it is really difficult. What is a tonic? Do people understand? And my second question related to that is, how are you going to make sure that you really make this a thing? What is your secret, or what's your strategy in really making this really high velocity and really going out so people understand it? So what's your take on that?
Well, a tonic implies in the name tone, and tone means like something that you tone a muscle, you tone something that you want to, you work on something to make it stronger. And medicinal plants tone the physiology. They tone the core functions of the body, such as, like I said, the immune system, the digestive system, the nervous system. And these things need toning as much as any other part of our external body, like our muscles. And tonics essentially are combinations of medicinal herbs and spices synergistically blended so that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and for a particular enhancement of a function, or a toning of a function of the physiology. And I think this is catching on because, one of the reasons that I created this company in the first place was that I started to see that the beverage cooler was a place where people were really going for healthcare. It was taking a big bite out of the supplement aisle in terms of where people were going to get something that was going to immediately impact their health in a positive way. And whether it's kombuchas or medicinal vinegars and collagen drinks, the functionality of the beverage cooler is obvious and expanding. So tonics have a very important place in that part. No one has taken on medicinal herbs and spices as a central feature of the beverage until our brand, Goldthread. And what we are, some of the ways in which we, our secret, like you're saying, is really getting that conversation going. And there's never been a time where that conversation is more apropos than right now, because people are very much wanting to and needing to take more self-responsibility for their health. And so it's in the cultural conversation in a big way. And like I said, the beverage cooler was ripe for this evolution. And I think we're doing a really good job of it. We're in over 3,000 distribution points at this point, and on Amazon and Walmart.com and lots of others, Instacart. And basically, because of the combination of refreshment and taste with functionality is the secret to my mind. And the presentation, you can see by looking at these things, they're attractive, like fruits or something that you just know your body wants. So for those reasons, I think that's the main strategy that we're working with, is just carrying on what's already being we were a little ahead of the game, to be honest with you, but I think this is where things are going. People don't need anything else that's going to make them unhealthy or susceptible to illness or dysfunction.
William, very well said. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, and hope to catch up again really soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. That's William Siff, the founder and CEO of Goldthread, a maker of plant-based tonics. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Up next is Matthew Thalakatur, who's the founder of Mighty Gum. Matthew, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great to see you. Mighty Gum, you've got the product in your name. No offense to, I hope you didn't take any offense to what we were saying earlier. But Mighty, I've seen the product, but for folks who haven't, tell us about it.
Yeah, Mighty Gum is a line of functional chewing gum. We're based out of Seattle, and our first product is the immunity chewing gum. And what we've done is taken vitamins from fruit, put some zinc, elderberry, some adaptogens like ashwagandha, astragalus, and reishi mushroom, and put it into a chewing gum. So this whole journey started about summer of 2018, when I realized, as much as I love taking my vitamins and supplements and how they make me feel, I can't seem to remember to take them on a regular basis. So I started thinking, I wonder if there are other habits that I do have that I could hack to incorporate these products that I enjoy taking. And that's where I did this audit, and chewing gum really stood out as a really great choice. So that got me into thinking about, how do I create a product? How do I create a chewing gum that tastes as good as the commercial chewing gums do? But I didn't want to put any of the things that made me feel guilty about chewing some of the conventional chewing gums. So I stayed away from aspartame, stayed away from ACE-K. The chewing gum is vegan, doesn't have any GMOs, is gluten and allergen free, sugar free. But at the same time, I wanted to taste just as good and actually provide that same sensory experience as conventional chewing gum. So it took me about 1.5 years to get there. And in February of this year, we just launched with our immunity product. And, you know, as the saying goes, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was just an incredible time to come out with this product. And yeah, we're doing really well. We've been out for about 3 months and getting really great feedback on our DTC platform, having some great conversations, initial conversations with some retailers. So yeah, feeling good.
And you mentioned a lot of on-trend ingredients, the adaptogens, the mushrooms. My first question is, how much of those ingredients can you actually put into a gum? Because you're very limited, you know, how much you can put in that. Is that more, as you said, for the flavor, or are you actually able to put enough of those ingredients in to have some sort of function associated with it?
Yeah, that's absolutely a great question. So one of the things that I believe is how we think, is this idea of a single pill that contains everything we need in a single dose. But the way that our body works, it's not designed to take 100% of what we need for a 24-hour span in a single dose. Just like we eat meals throughout the day, we like to receive our nutrition or supplementation throughout the day in manageable doses. And the beautiful thing with chewing gum is that you chew pieces of gum throughout the day, and you give yourself small doses that your body can actually metabolize. And that's the idea. So there's definitely, as a format, chewing gum is a small piece, so we can't get the dosage that you can in swallowing a pill. But at the same time, what it does open up for us is, it isn't just something you have in the morning. It's something that you have throughout the day. And by going through that cycle of the day and chewing multiple pieces, you do get a meaningful dose of the vitamins and the supplements.
That's interesting. And how, like, to be honest, I don't know much about the chewing gum category. I mean, we've seen a couple of companies that, you know, like with trying nootropics or trying to put caffeine in it or trying to go a more like simple gum with a more like a different ingredient approach. But what is the main occasion right now? That is, what's your insight in the market? How people are using chewing gums in their daily life? Like what's your insight in that in the market, and what's the pain point you're addressing there?
Yeah, so there's two pieces to it. One, the category as a whole has been declining. There really hasn't been any material innovation, especially from a functional perspective. The category brought in sugar-free breath freshening, and then after that, the category's kind of let it sit. And that's where Mighty Gum is coming in and bringing something brand new. So I don't want to necessarily anchor where Mighty Gum plays a role based off of the existing category behaviors, but you know, if we look at what Mintel is telling us, people are using gum as a way to break up the day, to break up boredom. It's a part of the routine. They have it after meals. And quite frankly, that in itself are great use occasions for chewing gum, and chewing gum that actually gives you vitamins and immune benefits. But I think as we reframe what chewing gum can do, from more being like something you take because you want a break to something you do because it makes you feel better. I think we introduce a different way of thinking about the routines around chewing gum.
That's great. And by the way, I love the brand name Mighty Gum. I think that's a good job on that part. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Definitely, it looks great on a T-shirt too. Well done, Matthew.
All right, thank you.
All right, Matthew, thanks so much for joining us on the live stream, and please stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
All right. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. I'm Ray Latif, the editor and producer of BevNet's Taste Radio podcast. Joining me as a co-host is Sebastian Dreher, the managing director of Doler Ventures US, which invests in innovative and emerging early stage brands. All right, so you can get your vitamins from a refreshment beverage, get your vitamins from chewing gum. Can you get your vitamins from your cocktails? Well, the folks from Twisted Alchemy are going to tell us about that. Kim and Scott Holstein, who are the co-founders. Kim, Scott, how are you?
Hi, Ray. It's great to be here.
The answer is absolutely yes.
All right. Well, for folks who aren't familiar with Twisted Alchemy, I've seen your brand in our coolers, and thank you so much for sharing them with us. Tell us about what you guys do.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Ray, Sebastian, for the opportunity. Brief, quick background. Kim and I founded Kim and Scott's Gourmet Pretzels, which is a frozen soft pretzel brand in natural sets. And we exited a few years ago to J&J Snack Food. We pivoted into fresh, low or no sugar, cold pressed juice cocktail, craft cocktail mixers, and started out in hospitality, to be honest. We drove hard into large hotel and restaurant groups to get validation in the marketplace in Chicago, New York, San Francisco, LA, Austin, and we have been working a lot with honing that side of the business in hospitality. Fortuitously, we have been working on a pivot to consumer before COVID hit. So mostly driven online. We have a pretty robust online drop ship business to consumers around the US. And our juices are curated around cocktail blends. So for example, like a fresh cold pressed passion fruit juice, which has no sugar at all. It's just pure passion fruit juice, or a fresh Italian Morel blood orange. The idea being, these are like the paints you would need to create this picture of in the form of a drinkable piece of art, which is where we're chasing. Really premium cocktails require premium ingredients, and you get the added benefit of all the nutrition that's built into like fresh cold pressed lemon juice or lime juice, which is it's an immunity juice. They create immunity. So.
Right. I was going to add, they're antiviral, lime and lemon, and then blood orange, 300% the vitamin C of regular orange juice. So they're actually, you can elevate your spirits with a cocktail and also have something that's healthier for you.
So first of all, I love your setup. It looks like there's party all day at your place. I get that. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's fantastic. I got a product question before I'm going to a more general question. So you said it's cold pressed. Is your product shelf stable? You mentioned all the shipping, or you're using HPP, and then everything has to be chilled and cooled. Like what's the setup for the product?
Yeah. So we cut our teeth on QVC back in the pretzel business days. When we started, we had a very robust QVC business, learned how to drop ship around the US efficiently. And so, yes, we are shipping HPP juice in eco-friendly coolers out of 3 warehouses across the US, Sacramento, Houston, and Milwaukee. So we can get ground rates 48 hours anywhere in the US.
Well, and also with HPP, we have a food safety is so critical at this time. So we're really providing a product that has that safety component.
But we get
easy to work with.
Yeah, and we get about up to 180 days of shelf life because they're pretty citrus heavy. So the pHs are pretty low.
That's great. And I think especially in those times, everyone can use a good cocktail. I want to ask you this because you mentioned that you have a great strategy for food service or for on-premise. Obviously, this right now is all it's all in change. So what is your takeaway?
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. How did you make sure to pivot your business in these days? And I think that's true. It could be great advice for every other company out there that is having a strong on-premise game in restaurants, especially. Like, what's your takeaway? What's your insight? What are you doing to mitigate that?
Well, I think we have two approaches to that. Well, first of all, everyone's at home, and people had been asking us, where can we get these juices? And so we're bringing them home to people who are having their home cocktails. And then secondly, as the reopening starts to happen, our products have that component of food safety. So we're doing a lot of curbside and a lot of to-go, having a product that's easy to work with, has that no labor, and also has shelf life.
Yeah, I mean, we're messaging heavy, as Kim said, around food safety on the way back in. But when COVID hit, we essentially had to furlough a bunch of our team on the food service side. We took any extra resources and put them in the web-based advertising, and paid a lot of attention to where people were searching for cocktails, mixers, and booze. Internet sales of liquor went up 450% as soon as COVID hit. And we have been chasing those searches online. So we have a really robust program in getting in front of people that are looking for alcohol, going in that direction, and offering up a solution of fresh juices and unique mixers. And so we've captured some eyeballs. We've been doing quarantine cocktail hours every Friday. We're doing joint Zoom calls with our spirit brands that are in hospitality, like Patron, Tanteo, Tequila. I forget some of the other brands, but we're using the partnerships we had in hospitality and helping us get the word out online. So we're scrappy, man. We're doing what we can to get our name out there.
That's great. That's great to hear. And obviously, since it's noon here, I couldn't have any of your cocktails, for this elevator talk, right? But thank you so much for your work on this, and can't wait to try it some later time.
What are you talking about, Sebastian? Every day is a weekend day now, right? You can have a cocktail anytime you want. It's maybe you should go visit Kim and Scott out in Chicago. They're clearly they're not shy about having a cocktail. Where I shouldn't say, I don't know. But in any case,
I think
in any case, Kim, Scott, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. Good luck with everything going forward, and congratulations on making some pretty fantastic tasting mixers.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for
so
having
much
us.
for the opportunity.
All right. Hashtag cocktail hour, cocktail o'clock. I'm definitely feeling that in about an hour or so. Sounds like Sebastian, you're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I think, especially now being home, you need to have some rules in place, otherwise it's going completely nuts. And, I'm just going to keep 5 p.m. is a good time, to say, okay, no drink before 5 p.m. I think that's great. I want to mention one thing, what's really smart, what those guys are doing is just, the 3-tier system in the US, shipping alcohol or just distributing alcohol is really, really tricky. And it's true, a good juice and those parts make a good cocktail. And it's very smart that you can go around the 3-tier system, but still participate in the uptake that we're seeing right now. So in general, I think that's a smart move of them.
Totally. For mixer entrepreneurs that I've spoken with, they've said that their business is doing quite well, and it's really hard to make a cocktail at home. So if it's just a one-step process of adding your favorite spirit and then mixing it together with a mixer, hey, that sounds like a good time to me. All right. Up next, we have Plamen Medorov, who is the CEO of Novel Plant Foods, calling all the way from Sofia, Bulgaria. Wow, Plamen, thank you. A million thanks for joining us. It's probably a little bit later where you are right now.
No, I thank you, and really thank you for having European companies in this wonderful conversation. And I really think everyone here is just great companies.
Indeed. Brain Foods is the name of your brand?
Yes, Brain Foods is the name of our brand. It's a brand new startup that we created in Europe. I've been doing, novel plant foods from quite a long time before that. And basically, our mission is to make a popular snack on the market, plant-based, vegan, with a little bit of innovation on top of it. So we introduce a snack, and we try to keep the price extremely affordable as well. Our marketing is to go with the big change. We're gonna go big activists in the next couple of years. We believe that the change will come from the companies, really pushing the whole business environment. And that's pretty much the products. You can see them at the back. We start with two categories, organic and sugar-free. We're looking at the nutrition, the benefits, the futures. We're trying to do the product quite popular in the not really niche. I don't believe that customers are looking too much for very niche products, simply because it's just a little bit far away from that time. So we introduced those wafers on the Brain Foods brand, and it's the first plant-based milk chocolate wafers in the world. They're 25% less calories than other brands in total. There is no added sugar, less than 1 gram in natural sugar in the total product, 100% vegan, high in fiber, no palm oil. We use coconut and shea as an oil, which is very popular now with healthy companies around the world. And that's pretty much all.
So me coming from Europe, I like, obviously I'm very, very familiar with the kind of product, and you can see, the one big Austrian brand right now in stores as well in the US. What is your understanding that your plan is to go into the US market, and many other European brands aspire to? What is your strategy? How do you want to open that up? Are you looking to hire a local team? Do you want to work with a distributor? Obviously, it's tough for you to manage everything from Bulgaria. So just fill me in a little bit on your strategy. How do you want to bring that across to the American consumer?
Sure. Well, basically, we're looking for a distributor for a beginning that we can build to get a proper strategy to the market. We have, I think, we have quite a good plan for unfortunate coming sort of a hard time recession, and I want to do a little bit of a market penetration. So we're basically looking at a really serious distributor we can build together the proper strategy to the marketing plan for United States, and really to execute it.
And since you have, I would almost say you have a hero brand with that explains the product in the US. So what is your strategy like? Do you want to be placed next to them? Do you say, I totally want to be in a new separate set, which is more for healthy snacks? What's your strategy? Do you want to piggyback on the existing brand out there or the existing products, or do you rather want to be completely separate? What's your approach to that?
Each individual supermarket has their individual position, but we believe that we must be positioned next to the popular brands. That's how most of the European countries are settling now, like Germany, France, and UK. So I believe all the new healthy brands coming to the market must be placed next to the big brands, and they must, they must be compared for the end consumer.
Plamen, very interesting stuff. And just a quick question: are you familiar with the NFL player Rob Gronkowski?
Not really, sorry.
Okay, well, if you came to the country, to the US, you look like a lot like him. So if you said, well, Rob Gronkowski's new brain food product, I don't know, it might be a little, you probably couldn't get away with the second time, but maybe the first time anyway. But he's a very popular person, especially in my neck of the woods here in the Boston area.
I'm popular enough in Bulgaria. I've been into the celebrity Big Brother back in the day, so I had enough of the celebrity part. With Paris Hilton, by the way. Paris Hilton was in the house.
Oh, really?
Yes,
wow.
yes. She was playing music, so Yes, but that's another story.
We'll save that for the next time.
Yes,
but great stuff with Brain Foods. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and I wanted to also thank Real Food Brands. It's a very big popular group that has mentioned all the stuff that you did, and just thank Katie that she brings me into that story. So really thank you, and also to Sebastian, and really thank you.
Outstanding. Well, please stay in touch, Plamen.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Good stuff. I think he looks like Robert Gronkowski. Sebastian, am I crazy?
No, I see. Like the moment you asked the question, I was like, oh, I see what Ray is going for right here. Yeah, he might want to think about like launching the product in Florida maybe now, right? I hope he's still popular, in your neck of the woods. But now with his new team, it's going to be interesting to see. But I have to say, I completely knew what you were going for there.
Yeah, well, and I'm not sure how people are going to respond once they start playing the NFL, if they start playing the season. So hopefully that happens. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Ro Semyon is the founder and CEO of Ro of Venice. Ro, how are you? Ro, I think you're still on mute. You need to unmute yourself, and then we'll have you on. There you go. We can hear you.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm doing well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon as well. Ro of Venice. What is the brand all about?
Ro of Venice. My name is Ro, obviously. I live in Venice, California. Ro of Venice is a vegan functional food that I create. USDA organic, flourless, dairy-free, and gluten-free. I started with making snacks with a handful of ingredients for myself, and that led to friends and family enjoying it, encouraging me to go to farmers market. Air One Market found me at farmers market, and now I'm in about 50 or so doors. I started in 2017. In early 2018, I came up with a bread, which is 4 ounces in weight with 20 grams of protein. Ro of Venice is a pure food company because I use no additives, preservatives, bonding agent whatsoever. For instance, this keto bread that is 4 ounces in weight and has 20 grams of protein. The protein comes from maca powder, hemp seed, and all the other seeds and nuts. I believe that food should be pure. And that's really the premise behind the product that I make, the recipes that I come up with. And I started because I couldn't find anything that would suit my personal dietary needs and desires. Everything has a lot of sugar in it. As you know, we were earlier chatting about the war on sugar, if you will.
Sebastian, did you find Ro of Venice at Erewhon?
Actually, I was looking for it because I saw on your Instagram that you ran into Steven Tyler. So I looked for either Ro of Venice or Steven Tyler in the Erewhon. I couldn't find either of them. But yeah, what's the story behind Steven Tyler? Maybe that's since you have been talking about celebrities already on the elevator talk.
I was actually doing a demo. I am a one-man show. And I was doing a demo in Los Angeles. He had just come back from a retreat, had started a vegan diet, and he noticed my product and loved it. I asked him if he would be kind enough to take a picture with me, and he was sweeter than anything. He's super nice, super supportive. Sebastian, I understand you live in Venice. And yes. My product is right across from the juice bar in the cold section with other raw and vegan product.
Okay, I'm gonna look out a little bit better the next time. I was a little bit in a hurry. I gotta admit that. I would love to learn a little bit about your production process. It's a great story, and obviously a lot of companies they solve an own need they have, and they come up with a product. And I want to understand: are you producing right now in a commercial kitchen? You mentioned that you're the one-man show, or do you already have a bigger supplier that is working with you? Just wanted to get a sense for that.
I work with a local artisan production facility. We still make everything one batch at a time, but I am no longer involved in the production aspect. It got to a point where business grew and I couldn't work independently in a commercial kitchen, which is where I started in 2017. I was doing things by myself and then hired a couple of people, and it got to a point where I couldn't produce enough.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes sense. And you're using, I guess, I mean, a lot of the products, the raw products especially, right? They are not easy to produce. So it's going to be very interesting to see that you find the right partners to really scale it up, you know, because as you said, in a commercial setup, it's something different than having, a bigger supplier that can produce that. What is your shelf life? That's my last question. What's the shelf life of your product you're having?
For the snacks that come in 4 flavors, they have a 6-month shelf life in the refrigerator, and the bread have a 6-week shelf life.
Okay, that's okay. Understood.
Awesome. Well, I really want to try that bread. It looks really interesting, and hopefully I'll be able to get out to the LA area pretty soon and be able to try it in my local Air One. Who knows? I might even run into Steven Tyler. That would be kind of fun.
Ray, I'm more than happy to send a package your way. I believe good things should be shared, and I'm more than happy to share them with you and Sebastian as well.
Well, what a beautiful thing to say, Ro. It's been so nice talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream today, and good luck with everything going forward.
Thank you for having me. Have a great afternoon.
Ro of Venice, pretty straightforward in terms of the name and what it means, but yeah, those breads and snacks look pretty fantastic. Sebastian, I hope you get to find some of that in your one pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that and let you like a fun fact here. When I looked up the brand or tried to find the brand, I learned a lot about rowing clubs in Venice.
Oh,
because if you look for row in Venice, you find rowing clubs in Venice, Italy. It's just very, very interesting.
Very interesting. Well, hopefully I'll get out to Venice too, and I'll ask the local population. So where do you row around here? And they probably will be like, "You crazy American, get out of here."
Yeah, and then you have row with you, and you're gonna say, "That's the solution. Here's row right here." Right.
All right. Let's move on to our next guest of the show, who is Gabriella Alban, who is the founder and CEO of Capulli Drinks. Gabrielle, how are you?
Hi Ray, hi Sebastian. Sorry, I thought there was one more person before me, but thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We decided to pop you on first just because I really wanted to hear about your brand, Capulli Drinks. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we have our edible fruit teas that are packs made with fruits, herbs, and spices. They're have 2 times as much fruit per pack than 100% fruit juice. They're no added sugar, caffeine free, really simple to make, really delicious. And we are a startup looking to create a brand that uplifts people with beautiful products. So it's a drink, but also an experience. And I started this company with my mom in 2017. We started sharing them at farmers markets. And my reason for starting is because I wanted to, I'm originally from Ecuador, and there are just so many, I grew up with a lot of like natural fruit juices and natural drinks and just, and things that are really transparent. And I wanted people to, or I wanted myself and other people to enjoy just really natural products. So all we do is, our blends are obviously signature blends, but they're dehydrated fruits, herbs, and spices combined in this delicious flavors. And really people can discover a whole world of flavors because it's the fruits and then the spices and the herbs. And up to this moment, we've been, as I mentioned, we started with pop-up events. Then we started working with small retail partners because we make all of our product ourselves in Redmond. And just in November, we were able to solve certain things with our supply chain, and we started to offer them at wholesale. So just in November, we started offering them at PCC community markets in Seattle, and made in Washington stores and other stores, and they've been doing really, really well. And then this whole COVID thing has hit, and we're looking to pivot to do online. We do have sort of an online presence, and we are looking to, just share it with people.
Gabriella, in my notes here, I have Kapuli drinks as edible fruit teas crafted from imperfect fruits, which all sounds amazing to me because I want to eat something. I love tea and imperfect fruits. This whole upcycling trend. It all sounds like it's really awesome. Is that essentially your tagline? Do you have a tagline for your brand?
Yeah, that is a tagline. We craft beauty out of imperfect fruits, because we're able to capture the fruits when they're really ripe, and we those are our packs, and then we make it into something that's really food forward and like nice and delicious. You can see all the fruits, and then they're really simple to be rehydrated, and then you can drink them and also nibble on the fruits. Our target audience is moms looking for something healthy for their kids, since I think for moms it's more of a need than a want to have transparent natural products that are beautiful and delicious. So yeah.
So just to understand that, because it's interesting that you showed that glass. So I first thought it's like a tea in a tea bag, but it's essentially you're saying, you just put it into a container and then you pour hot or cold water over it, and essentially, is that what it is? Or how would you use the product? I just try to understand it a little bit better.
Exactly. You just open the whole pack, so all the fruits and herbs, and it has the fruits and then a tea bag inside of it. So the tea bag, the herbs it makes it easy to drink. Then you just add boiling water, you cover it, wait for at least 10 minutes. It takes a little bit longer than a tea because we're committed to natural flavors. There's no artificial flavors or sugars. And then and then you can drink them, and it's a new category. So it's
okay. Yeah. And how do you manage? And you can see, like we had like Ray and I having questions already. How do you manage that education process? Because every time you put something in front of people that's different, right? How do you communicate that? Do you have online content? How do you manage that in store and online?
Yeah. So up to now, our focus has been retail, because at the retail level, we can have people that offer samples, and samples are obviously, well, for anybody, like a game changer, but really for us, we have a huge conversion rate when people try it and see it and taste it. And it's a new thing that people kind of fall in love with. So for example, the retail partners that we've been doing, they, for example, at the Made in Washington stores, our product did so well that they had dedicated people of their staff to just hand out samples all the time. So and also we were looking also to serve them at so in the sort of hospitality space, we were talking to Nordstrom to serve them with their e-bars. So we're looking to start with people trying them. And then we do have an online presence, and we do want to develop the whole influencer marketing aspect and have videos. And that's something that we're working on.
Well, I saw you sipping on your product throughout our show, and thank you so much for being patient with us. But you were getting me very thirsty because the product looks amazing. And then you seeing the actual packets, and then hearing again that they're made from imperfect fruits. I think you've got a really great start, and I think there's a long runway for your brand, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it evolves over the next year or so.
Yeah, thanks so much. And it's really, thank you for having me. It's really uplifting to hear from all the entrepreneurs and all those ideas that are and products that are going around. So,
well, if you ever have any questions about anything, or you want to bounce some ideas off of us, please stay in touch. We're happy to be here for you and happy to help you along your journey.
Thank you. And I'd love to. Probably we're not in California or so if you would like to have some samples, it'd be just nice for you to try. Happy to share.
Absolutely. Sebastian, you game?
I'm always for samples. Listen, I'm always open, always seek. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very happy to.
Yeah. Gabriella, thank you so much for joining us in the Elevator Talk live stream. Once again, just please stay in touch.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye. All right. All right. Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the show. We were scheduled to have Ben Wheeler, who is the founder and CEO of a brand called Favor, joining us today. Unfortunately, because of connection issues, we weren't able to get him on, but he will be hopefully joining us next week. So please stay tuned. Once again, Elevator Talk always every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific time. And hopefully next week we'll have Ben on, as mentioned, the founder and CEO of Favor, a maker of apple cider vinegar shots. Sebastian, another fantastic group of entrepreneurs, some really interesting, innovative ideas. What did you see that you wanted to hear more of? And what were you most impressed by in terms of the overall group?
Yeah, I think we saw like really, really different concepts here, right? From going from really established categories to really new concepts and to great branding. I think especially now in these times, I think I would love to dive deeper into especially e-commerce and online strategies. I think this now has become more important than ever. Even before everything that's hitting us right now, we have been seeing that e-commerce is a very important channel for a brand. And even now, it's more important than ever. You can test out, you can learn about the consumer, you can get the metrics right, you can get the margins right. And many of the products we've seen today are perfectly suited for online, just especially the ones that are lightweight and have a high value. Those are perfect for online. And it's very interesting for me to learn more about the strategies there and how they're going to stand out. I think that's one thing I want to mention.
Outstanding. Yeah, and I think that's excellent advice. It's for brands that are just launching right now. There was always that opportunity to launch online. Now it's as much the standard as it is anything. So really great group of folks, I thought, and I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop and what they're going to do online. I have hope. I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that we talk to are just bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and that's exactly what you need at this time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you being an entrepreneur is never easy. There's so many challenges, there's so many curveballs that are thrown to you, and you got to figure out, and you got to work with the hand you have been dealt. And this has never been more important than right now. But it's important, if you have an insight and if you really connect with people, and you always have a chance to stand out. And especially right now, people spend a lot of time at home, like you and like me. We're creating new habits. We have a totally different exposure right now to food and beverage, because it is the one time a day or like the 3 times a day where everybody comes together, or you have like a physical experience and with food. And food is such an important part of our life that the storytelling, the passion of entrepreneurs hopefully translate to the product and the brands. And that is right now keeping everyone alive and sane.
If you read between the lines, you heard all of Sebastian's investment strategy right there. But if you, for folks, I forgot to mention this earlier in the show, for folks who want to get in touch with you, Sebastian, bounce ideas off of you, send you a pitch, send you products, how do they do so?
Yeah, they either reach out over LinkedIn or send me an email to sebastian.dreher@dola.com. I'm sure you're gonna put it somewhere on the homepage to find. I'm always happy. As I said, my mantra is always happy to talk. I've been a little bit slow in coming back to all the people lately. It's just so much that's hitting me right now. So everybody, and in general, it's the advice: if you don't hear from me instantly, just feel free to reach back out again. Right? I think that's right now everybody's overwhelmed, and it's really important to just reach out again, and I'm gonna respond. I promise.
Yes, a patient follow-up is patient and gratuitous follow-up is coming. You just have to, like I said, and like Sebastian said, understand the times we live in. Sebastian, it's just so wonderful having you on the show as always. Can we do it again soon?
Of course. I'm always game. I'm not going anywhere soon. So absolutely always happy to join, to share the thoughts, from an investor perspective, and to have a conversation with you and beautiful brands. And thank you for organizing such wonderful content every week. And that's really appreciated from the community.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, as does our fantastic team at BevNet and Nosh. Once again, you've been watching the Elevator Talk live stream produced by BevNet and Nosh. I'm Ray Latif, the editor and producer of BevNet's Taste Radio podcast, signing off for Sebastian Dreher and again, our fantastic team. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. 12 p.m. Pacific.